Yeah, buddy.
Well,
Thank you so much for joining us. We are also recording this for Coach Drain's class.
okay.
And all of our teachers here at Velma Jackson. I've got a room full with me, class of 2022. And we just watched a short video on Tougaloo, and it had some things I even did not know about the Heart Study program. Some of the famous people that have been on campus: Medgar Evers, Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy, Stokely Carmichael, just tons of Black leaders, and then all the things Tougaloo does to push the envelope as far as inclusion and diversity in all these workforces. So before we get to that, let's class of 2018, Velma Jackson, take us through a little bit about your high school experience. And then before we get to Tougaloo, take us to your Hinds experience as well, because you did the community college route, which we're really encouraging more and more students to do.
Okay. Well, to begin with, hey guys, Malcolm Walker. I'm a 2018 honor graduate of Velma Jackson High School. While at Velma Jackson, I was more into like the arts. As like some of you may know, I've come back to your middle school a couple of times to sing at some of your programs. So I think that music was a big part of my high school experience. You know, I was in a couple of programs, a couple of like theatric performances. So high school for me as a freshman coming in, of course, you're always going to be a little bit nervous. So that comes with the whole package. I was a bit quiet. I didn't really talk much. I had friends, but I only had like a few. So Velma Jackson for me was very life-changing. I gained like a lot of essential skills that I would take with me to not only junior college, but to my undergraduate school as well. And I can say that Velma Jackson definitely prepares you for college. I promise you. Take these classes very seriously. Even if you get halfway through the semester and you're like, oh man, like I'm burned out. Like I don't know what else to do. You have that fire in you, I promise you. And everything that you're learning now is going to be applied later, whether you're taking freshman level courses or even I'm a poli-sci major. So a lot of the stuff I took from like Mississippi studies and world history, even like a lot of that stuff tied into like my degree plan. So Velma Jackson definitely prepares you for college. Don't let anyone tell you any differently, because that is not true. So just transitioning from Velma to my JUCO experience, I am a 2019 cum laude graduate of Hinds Community College in Raymond, Mississippi. Originally, I wasn't supposed to go to Hinds. I was supposed to go to Millsaps on a halfway full ride scholarship, but it wasn't quite there. So I ended up talking to like a couple of schools, a couple of junior colleges to see, how scholarships were and the area, like what was in the area, like what was going on, if it was a really good school for my degree program, what I wanted to do. And Hinds ended up reaching out to me with the opportunity of pursuing like a music-based scholarship that would take care of like my full tuition. And I took it, and then I decided not to go into the program. And I ended up going for poli-sci anyway. But while I was there, I got into these different activities like Men of Excellence. I was in PTK. I was in the Honor Society, which is a whole institute at Hinds Community College.
And the PTK is a Phi Theta Kappa, and that's the Honor Society for junior colleges, and it's national, and that gives you pretty close to full scholarships going to four-year universities.
Oh yeah, PTK is. It's funny you said that. PTK is actually paying my way through Tougaloo right now.
Wow.
Yeah. So matriculating through junior college up until like my four-year school, I have not had to pay any kind of money at all. While I was at Hinds, I acquired a job as a resident assistant. So while there, you get to work in the residence hall. You get to take over like the day-to-day operations within like your dorm. And I know specifically at Hinds Community College that is equal to like a full ride scholarship. So definitely when you get to like these junior colleges, take advantage of those opportunities, because they are there for you and they're there to help you in whatever way possible. So
yeah, we've had several students at other schools do the same thing, and they've all said it's a very positive experience.
Oh yeah. I really definitely enjoyed my junior college experience. A lot of the friends that I have now, I met in junior college. So you just kind of gain those different relationships, even with like your professors, and you could take those like a very long way. I know when I was at Hinds, I was trying to get a minor in Spanish before I came to Tougaloo. And my Spanish teacher worked with me through the whole semester, made sure I was taking the classes I needed to take till eventually I got to Tougaloo and I have like the hours equivalent to a minor.
Wow.
So they definitely set you up for success in many areas of your academic career.
Yeah, and I think that's a misnomer that you just shed light on, is that a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to community college, I can't go to a university. The community colleges want you to transfer to the university.
That's very true. They literally they set you up and they encourage you. At JUCOs, like you know how at high school, college fairs, you have those different people come back and they tell you a little bit. We have the same thing that happens at high school college. We have like a college career day, and it's always set up in like the center of the campus. And so many different colleges across Mississippi and even some out of state, they come back and they talk to you about going to like your next level within your academic career.
Yeah,
so
and that's what they want. All right, so
yeah.
Velma Jackson, Hinds, now Tougaloo. So why Tougaloo College?
Okay, so originally, again, I wasn't supposed to go to Tougaloo. I was supposed to go to Ole Miss. I had a full ride to Ole Miss with all of the scholarships that I attained with being in PTK, the Honors Institute, different programs that were offering to pay for like my school. And like I eventually got what's equal to a full ride at Ole Miss. But during my last semester at Hinds, my friend who was now my line brother, he wanted to go to Tougaloo and he asked me to take him on a tour there. And so I went there, we were touring the campus, and when we got to admissions, you know, they looked at me and they were like, have you ever applied? And I was like, yeah, I did apply, but I never got like any kind of acceptance letter. And they accepted me on the spot. And yeah, they accepted me on the spot. And I went to the music department and I ended up getting a scholarship on the spot as well to come into Tougaloo just with money. Just off of that experience alone, it was a very eye-opening for me because it made me realize like, wow, like we have so many different schools in Mississippi that we know nothing about, because I knew nothing about Tougaloo prior to coming here. I knew that we had people from Velma Jackson who were like alum, but I never really considered it like a school of choice until I went there, and they changed my mind completely. Wow. Like, I know while I'm here now presently, I joined the Pre-Law Society, which I am now a pre-law scholar. I went into intake process to Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, which I serve as the second vice president and the chair of social action. I'm a member of the Tougaloo College Concert Choir, which is well renowned. I'm also president and editor of the Harambe student newspaper here on campus. So I'm a pretty busy guy, but I make time for my work and I make time to still have some kind of social life. And I can't lie, it's stressful. It's definitely stressful. It's not easy getting a degree. It's not something that you can do overnight. You have to put in the work. You have to study. You have to take notes. You have to actively go to class, and you have to actively participate, because that's the only way you're going to really learn for your discipline. So when you get in the field, you'll know what you're doing.
Yeah, and then and another thing about Tougaloo is that, you know, in similar to Hinds, it's not overwhelmingly big. It's not just thousands and thousands and thousands of people. You're not lost in the shuffle.
Right.
It is pretty small class sizes, and you have that one interaction with professors.
Yeah. So I know coming in as a sophomore, because I graduated from Hinds like a semester early. Coming in as a sophomore, I had some entry-level courses that had maybe at max like 20 people. But as you go deeper into like your discipline, you start to have classes that maybe have like 5 people. I know last semester, my survey of civil law 1 class had only me and 1 other person in there.
Wow.
So the relationships that you can gain with your professors is very much like intimate. You get to go to them whenever you need. You have their phone number, they offer it to you. You can call them any time of the hour. So they just make themselves very available to you.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have a few questions I want to get to, but also let's talk a little bit about coming from Velma Jackson and then going to a mixed cultural place like Hinds and now to an HBCU. What do both of those have to offer that maybe the other one doesn't?
Okay. Well, going to Hinds, it was definitely a culture shock for me because Velma Jackson is a predominantly Black high school. So a lot of what Hinds had to offer me was really good perspective. It offered me like the chance to go into a very diverse like environment and come out a person with a perspective of like a person this skin color or a person of like this ethnicity, or just where they come from, where they are, and where they plan on going. It's always very interesting to gain those different, like be in those engaging conversations, because not only do you learn more about that person and you take a little bit of what that person offered you with you, but you're also offering like a piece of yourself. And through those different like experiences, you grow and you start to gain other skills that are like essential for later on in life when you're gonna be in diverse like environments. So coming to Tougaloo, on the flip side, which is a historically Black college and university, which is predominantly Black, Tougaloo is very comfortable. I can say in all honesty, it's very comfortable, but they also make sure that you're in like a position where you're exposed to these different diverse like collective people. So I know sometimes we have like the opportunities to go into internships through like some of our medical programs where we have to work with like different students from different
And the
schools.
Jackson Heart Study at the medical, that's one of the most renowned medical programs in the country. That started when I was in high school. It's been there for years.
Jackson Heart Study is a big, Jackson Heart Study and then the Reuben V. Anderson Pre-Law Society is two really big programs here. And I know I have a couple of friends in Jackson Heart Study. It's a lot of different benefits from being in both. I know with me being in RVA, I get like a stipend every semester. Wow. So yeah, so they really set you up for different things. They make sure that you're taken care of financially. They have work study, just different ways of just getting about while also tying into like your major, because I want to eventually go into law, and RVA sets me up to be in these different programs and to take these different courses to where when I get to law school, I'll be prepared.
Absolutely. And then before I get to the students' questions, we would be remiss. Obviously, congratulations, just joining Phi Beta Sigma's great organization. So, we're going to have some questions about the Greek organization here, but what I try to get across to anybody watching now or later is that it's not just strolling and stepping and wearing the colors and posting on Instagram and all that stuff. And all that's fun. I've been to step shows and they are really cool and a lot of fun. But there's a lot more that goes into it than that. So can you talk a little bit about what all Phi Beta Sigma does in the community?
Oh yeah, so Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated is a fraternity that aims for a lot of community service-based action and also a lot of social action. We have a lot of prominent leaders like John Lewis, who was beside Martin Luther King Jr. in the March on Washington and everything. So we're a service-oriented organization. Behind the scenes, we do like a lot of administrative work, like preparing for different meetings and different events on campus. I know that in a couple of weeks, we have what we call Sigma Week. And that's basically where we like showcase like a lot of different pageants and different things and just activities for the campus in general. So a lot of the action based behind Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, like I said before, is very social. We tend to like be very like particular about like how we approach different like social based like situations. And from there, we kind of well not kind of, but we go from being this organization on the outside that's just like, like you said, like you do strolls and you wear the colors and you go out on campus and you can just show it off. But behind the scenes is so much more than that. To be in an organization, you have to set that standard. Even when I was in community college and I was in mental excellence, it was still kind of based upon the same thing. You have to uphold those principles. You have to. They're essential to the organization and they're essential to the schematics of your own person. So,
yeah, and also, and obviously, I've worked on multiple college campuses. So I've dealt with MPHC. They also have the only MPHC organization that has a partnership with a sorority was Zeta Phi Beta, which Miss Reeves and Miss Berry here are both members of. So if you want to meet women, Phi Beta Sigma might be a good one to join because they have a sister organization.
Yes, we're the only constitutionally bound organization in the MPHC. So,
yeah. I've always thought that's pretty cool. But I do want to get to some of these students' questions. Again, these are all seniors, class of 2022. And this first was a good one about college atmosphere. This is from Corlin Murray. And she asks, do you think getting involved in too many things on campus can harm you more than help you?
Okay, that's a really good question. I would say being active on campus is very beneficial in a lot of different ways. Now, that doesn't mean go to college and, get into every organization you see. I know that sometimes it could be a little bit tempting. I know that me personally, when I first got to college, I said, okay, when I get here, I'm going to participate in everything because that's what I did at Velma Jackson. And eventually, when you get into doing time management and making time for class and, starting to build the time to make for those organizations, you'll soon realize you can only take so much. So in my opinion, I would say, do what you love to do. Do it good and join organizations that you think cater to your needs and not only just your needs, but what you can offer them as well.
Yeah, and things that can benefit you down the road. I agree.
Oh, yeah. It's all about networking at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree. This is Garrett Bush, and he asked, what made you join Phi Beta Sigma?
Well, in just a few words, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, when I first got to Tougaloo, were some of the few people that made me feel very at home. They didn't make me feel like I had to act a certain way to be around them. I had to have certain conversations in order to keep up with them. They were just literally friendly faces. And I remember thinking to myself when I got here, wow, these people literally did not have to say 2 words to me, but they said 20 and plus.
Wow.
And I think that alone stood out to me, especially coming from a JUCO, transferring in the middle of the semester, in the middle of the year. Coming in, it was so scary for me. But some of the members of my org made me feel very welcome. And that was just a big piece of why I decided to become a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated.
That's awesome. And you just hit on this, but this is a question from LaTravis Williamson. And he asked, what was the hardest part about transitioning from Hinds to Tougaloo?
Ooh, okay. I think the hardest part was making those connections again, because how when you come into an area and you settle for so long and you get kind of used to the area and you're used to the people around you. I think having that big shift from being around those people that I could see every day to being in an environment where I knew absolutely no one was just a big shock for me. And especially coming from high school, when it was always me and my cousin, we've been in K through 12 together. We got the Hinds, we were there together, and I leave Hinds and I come to Tougaloo and he's not there beside me. So just not having those personal connections that you've already established was one big hard part for me to get over.
Yeah. This is from Kendrick Lindsay, and he asked, how difficult was the rush process of the fraternity?
Rush wasn't bad. You just have to, it wasn't bad. It was pretty okay.
Yeah, it's not like back in the 80s and 70s and 80s where it was crazy. They cracked down a lot of that crazy stuff. But Malcolm, we're almost out of time, and we thank you so much for joining us. I know you got a crazy schedule.
No problem at all.
And it's funny. I've been on campus a few times picking up Uber riders, and everybody knows who you are. I think that speaks a lot on you, and I know a lot of teachers are going to see this later, and I think I can speak for all of them to say we are so proud to call you an alumni. You're doing some great things to represent our school, and it's just that class of 2018 with you, Tamara Jackson. There were some other great students that come out of that class, and y'all done some great things since then. But before we go, you went. Everybody watching now is a Velma Jackson student, and most of the ones that are going to watch later. You were walking these same halls with these same teachers in the same building, but yet you've already accomplished some amazing things. So even if they don't go to Tougaloo, what can they do to follow in the footsteps of alumni like you?
That's a really deep question. That's a really good question too. I'm not perfect at all. Let me just start off by saying that. I'm not the ideal student. I definitely procrastinate whenever, I definitely get the chance. I definitely am just I'm not the perfect student, bro. Like, we are all out here trying to get the same thing. Your story is your story, and it's your story, and it's unique because it goes at your own pace. So never think that because somebody is like 10 steps ahead of you means that you have to be 15 steps ahead of them.
Absolutely.
This is your story. This is your time. So you get what you need to get in your own time so that you're just as successful as the person sitting next to you.
Absolutely, man. That's some great stuff. Well, Malcolm, we thank you so much. And like I said, all of our seniors are going to see this. So we appreciate you making some time for us today. I'll talk to you soon, my man.
All right, y'all take care now.
All right. See you, buddy.